Ow. Hi. Hi. So, you may remember I made a video just a couple weeks ago about flushing the coolant in the cruise and fixing a couple of leaks. You'll remember if you've seen that video. First of all, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it up here maybe. Now, during that video, you may remember that I said this. What I did right now is I took the original line, which didn't seem to be the issue. It seemed to just be the clamps at each end, and I pried off the hydraulic fitting here. I just used a pair of snips and just kind of cut that away. It doesn't appear that I damaged that hose in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying to do this way, but I put the hose back on there and I just put on standard hose clamps on it, and I'm going to try it like this. Okay, so turns out that lasted all of about 2 weeks. So as you can see here, the exhaust and turbo is out. You have to take that out to actually change out the stupid line that I was trying to change out. I ordered that line to fix it. Well, actually I went and I bought one. I bought two, and when I took the turbo off, I see that there was all these other lines on the back. So I figured this one was going to be the next one to leak, so I would just go ahead and try and get that and replace it. Of course, no one had it in stock. I priced it out at the dealership, and for all the parts here for the 4 lines it would have been about 550-ish bucks. But I did find this kit here, and I'll put it on screen here, from O'Reilly's, but it has your oil feed line for the turbo. You have a new metal replacement oil return line, the coolant return line, which is the one that was leaking, and then I think this is the coolant feed line that ties into the back of the block. All of this right here, 106 bucks. So there's that. The biggest issue kind of getting the turbo off was this line here. It just clips in and clips to the block, and I had to use a pry bar and have my wife lift the turbo out while I was popping out, and I don't know if this happened because of it, but I just noticed that. It's a plastic line inside there, and it is broken. So I probably broke that, but need to replace anyways before I tried to put it back on there. Steps to taking out the turbo: you have to disconnect the intake from the air box PCV line here, the charge pipe that goes down through the intercooler. There's a vacuum line that goes right here. There's a plug that plugs in here that you pop and snap out the bottom. There's a connector that just pops in here that's holding a wiring harness. There is the wastegate that you take off the turbo, which is 2 bolts and a C-clip at the bottom that hooks onto this lever down here that operates the wastegate inside. You have to take that off. There's a vacuum line that goes to that, and you have to take that off because you need to be able to access these 2 bottom, see right here, these 2 bottom head bolts, or the bolts that go to the head. Well, they're studs, but 7 of mine have come out and turned into nuts, which whatever. The most difficult thing to get done was this cooler line that goes into the back, because it connects into the block right here, and you have to go in between these AC lines to get it out. Here's that line that was giving me all the trouble when I found it the second time I drained the coolant to fix this line. You know, whatever. So you have to take all this out. You don't have to take off the catalytic converter, but I did go underneath and completely remove the 2 nuts that connected to the bracket, so it's kind of loose to give it room to shimmy out. So yeah, I mean, taking apart is kind of a hassle, more or less. I mean, I did it in my driveway. It's probably easier if you have a lift, because I had to jack on one side of the car to slide in and out of there, and did a lot of creative cussing while I was doing it. But that's where we sit now. So when I said I'm not recommending you do this, I'm recommending you don't do what I did last time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch out these lines on the turbo, get that ready to go, pull out all the stuff I have in there blocking up all the holes, and reassemble it. So here we go. All right, all back together. All the new stuff on there, very begrudgingly. This sucks. This is a ridiculous amount of work. I have an open invitation to anybody that was an engineer in this car to meet into a parking lot somewhere, and we can talk about this. But word of advice, if you have to replace this hose, just bite the bullet, yank everything off, and just do it all at once. And now it's time to drop this down and go through the bleeding cycle yet again. All right, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.